Okay, so I have another object-oriented example. This time we have a student class. This is really nothing new here. We have the constructor, we have a couple of functions to add functionality to the class. One new thing I did throw in here, and it's really nothing new, it's just kind of a synthesis of techniques you already know, is I have a list as one of the attributes. See, you can do that. So for example, this student. What are certain things about the student that I want to track? What kind of attributes should my student object have in my program? Obviously a first name, a last name, a major or concentration, okay? And then the test scores. The test scores on every test the student's taken with me, for example. That's a list of things, right? So you can have more sophisticated data types as class attributes. Okay, so it doesn't have to be just the simple ones, the string and the float and the int. You can have lists, dictionaries, whatever you need to serve your purpose, right? So, and then I have an average to maybe average up those test scores and get the semester average for the student. So that's really the only curveball in this program is the list for the test scores. Let's take a look at the constructor. Okay, here's the constructor. We can spot it a mile away in it, right? So self, of course, first name, last name, the major, and then I've got this parameter, which is scores. That is the list. It's the list of test scores. And, you know, looking at the code, you can't tell that that's a list. I mean, you know, it could be any run-of-the-mill data type, but it is the list. That's the list that's coming through the parameter, and it's being dumped into the class attribute, which happens to be a list. Okay, fine. And then I have I'm putting in a call to one of the functions, which is calc average grade. Let's take a look at that. So, you know, I have the print student record. That's nothing super exciting, but let's take a look at this guy, this function that I coded as part of the class, right? It's calc average. Okay, so the average, the student's average, the semester average is going to be the sum of those test scores, just using a sum function there on that list of test scores. I'm going to sum up the test scores and then divide by the length of the test scores. So that's just a quick little way to get the average for the student, the average of the test scores, okay, and then put that average in the average attribute. So now the student is all loaded up and ready to go, okay, rolling off the assembly line, fully loaded, I like to say. And then, you know, for the printing of the student, it's just basically printing the student's name, the student's major, and then we'll print the exam scores with a quick little, the exam scores are in a list, right? So I can zip through that with a loop, and you'll see. Let's run that. Okay. I guess, so I've got 2 students. We'll pretend this is for Hogwarts or something. So here's the first student record. We have Harry Potter Defense Against the Dark Arts, and then these are the exam scores for Harry Potter. So, you know, let's look at me creating these objects here in the main program. I have S1, that's the first student. It's going to be Harry Potter Defense Against the Dark Arts. Look at this. These are his test scores in the little list. Right? There's the list. So when this data goes up to the constructor, okay, self is S1. We're calling this constructor in the name of S1, Harry Potter, DDA, Defense Against the Dark Arts, and then those test scores are coming in here, the list of test scores, and then one by one into the attributes, calculating Harry Potter's average, and done. He's fully loaded and ready to go. Right. Second student, S2, Draco Malfoy, same thing. Okay. Comes up to the constructor. Self is S2, Draco Malfoy, studying potions, and then his test scores into the scores list, into the scores parameter, and then that'll go into the test scores list, which is the attribute of that student. So, yeah, there you go.